Hello and welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2020. And the topic is What in the Whirlwind? It's a collection of images and sky observations happening between August 9th and the 19th, 2020. And before we get going with the sky observations, I'd like to say good day, osio, hao, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobry, konnichiwa, dobro dnia, annyeonghaseyo, boa tarde, dobry den, aloha winala, kalimera, and guten dag. So this starter image is just of a Scrabble game played recently. And yes, I forgot a U in this word. And actually, when I was looking at whoops, that's actually a valid Scrabble word for the game. So I learned a lot. Anyway, let's get going. All right, so this first set of images is just were happening the other day, actually on August 9th. I've been out of the loop a little while recording shows. I still have been taking pictures, but I've been going through a physical move, so there's been a lot going on, and so I hope to get back to a more regular schedule soon. Anyway, I'm putting a few images together. Normally I'd like to do single standalone images. Also doing some sunrise and sunset sequences this time. And as always, I'll probably race through those a bit just to keep this overall show at a nice tight running time. Anyhow, just the upper left is just evidence of a strange artificial cloud. The upper right is of a chemtrail, and I did observe that over hours. It just stayed and spread across the sky. Then we've got a nice reddish tinged sky happening at sunset, and with some heavy, blanketed artificial cloud cover and other kind of cloud cover veiling the true ball and other things happening beyond. And I talk about that in previous shows. And then in the lower right is a purple sky with odd clouds, and that was just an unusual moment as well. All right, now here's the sunrise sequence. I'm not going to linger too long on any one photo. I'm going to move through pretty quickly, but what struck me with this was this whitish beam, kind of popping up that way. And then as we moved along, there were just strange clouds. To me, there's Cloaking Craft in there happening off to the southeast. And then look at this, these strange, they look like letters, so either an M and a U, or a K and a V maybe, or K and C. You might find something else in there. We're going to zoom in on that too coming up, because it looks like a lot of electromagnetic wave or other activities happening up above here to generate some striations in there, and to me that's always a sign of either cloaking or decloaking craft, something coming or going. And it just was very odd, because look, there's nothing else like that in the entire sky. And again, look at this, you can see the veiling. You really can't see evidence of anything specific, and even when the sun is starting to come up, heavy veiling, and even you get appearance of something reddish happening beyond. In the lower right, I just enhanced the photo so you could pull out that, reddish hue, to see it even better. In contrast, stark contrast with this white ball or, sun in quotes that's coming up. I do believe it's artificial, or at least artificial tech in front of the sun. And do look at some of my previous videos and my thoughts on that. Anyway, in the meantime, weird things were happening with the camera flare that don't usually happen, and other, strange clouds were popping up. All right, so let's zoom in on some of those images and get to what might be going on. So those letters that we saw, here's the beginning. The origins of them were just, just like one little puff of, I don't know if that's water vapor or plasma or what it is, but it was just like one little puff, and then it started magically popping up like this, and then progressing into this, and then finally into this. So you can see some disturbance happening. So I blew up, enlarged the photo, changed the contrast. When I talk about enhanced photos and going forward, I'll usually show original photos in text or enhanced photos. And enhanced simply means that I've changed the contrast, altered the contrast, the brightness, the hue, the color, just a little bit to try to draw and pull some shapes and things out a little bit better. And that's it. So nothing is added or taken away or removed from the image, just the attributes are changed slightly. So here we go. When I zoomed in, I just started seeing little weird bits and pieces here popping up. And again, the overall, look at these striations, these undulations. They look like little bars and fuzzy and haze. And to me, that is always a sign of some type of craft cloaking. And in other shows, I have more clear evidence of this. And in this show, there's some good concrete evidence here and there. but do look at some of the other shows if you want to see even more. Okay, so now labeled it A, B, and C just to look at specific areas of this thing and zooming in. So A.1 just means a zoom in of A, B1 is a zoom in of B, etc. So on A, I noticed here's like a really bright point. It's a really white point, circle, could be a sphere. There's some shadow cast on this thing. So I don't know what that's a part of, but I definitely am picking up that that's some type of tech. Even from here in the upper right-hand corner, you just see it really stand out as a really white point. Anyway, we moved to B. Seems to be a whole lot of disturbance happening around here, so I zoomed in trying to see something a little bit better. It was really hard to pick anything out, but just there's some little weird shapes in here. I don't know if it's one craft trying to pop up or there's several kind of hiding in here, hard to say. But something's happening in there, some kind of weird activity local on that specific point. And then C, just zoomed in because that seemed to be, really dark point. So again, to me, some kind of tech is hiding up in there. All right, now here's a continuation kind of this similar time. We have a sunset sequence, and here I want to focus in on this thing. So in the center, something started to kind of create a circle, and there's a lot of activity coming and going right at the center. So I don't really want to call it an eye, but that's kind of what it's shaped like. So there's this pointed ellipse or ring happening around, and then something in the center seems to be happening. So we'll get to that and zoom in on some photos to see what's really going on there. But back up to the upper left, so we've got this artificial cloud activity happening. Again, this really chaotic kind of tufts of clouds show me there's probably something cloaking in there, or it's generating cloud, in that moment. So I have a previous show where I'm seeing a lot of these weird shaped artificial looking clouds because they got really triangular edges to them, really weird spiky wisps to them, and they come out in a cone. Just like on the spot, they don't move in as a part of any cloud system. And then all of a sudden they puddle out. So I call them puddle clouds because then they puddle out over great territory and cover up the sun. So you can't see exactly what's going on. And again, I know it is due to the artificial tech happening up and around the sun and also other bodies that are orbiting the sun. And I have evidence of that too in other shows. And if you look on the look around on the internet at other Earth and sky watching channels, you'll see what they're finding as well, especially with instruments up in space or from the ground looking up. You choose, but do have a look around and see and formulate an opinion of your own, looking at other channels as well. Anyway, here's this thing traipsing along. Looks very much like craft to me. There's a definitive triangular shape in there that we'll get to in another standalone slide coming up soon. So down here, the right-hand side, here's some more frayed activity showing me, that's a great indicator of artificial cloud activity. Now, is this artificial cloud activity being created by human tech? At first I thought so, but now I think it has to be above and beyond that. I've mentioned in other shows, this stuff is happening right on the spot, and you don't see any evidence of craft coming or going or hearing it. And it just seems to be too, blanketing overall in so many locations that I think that humans just wouldn't have the human power to cover so much territory. And I've just seen such weird orbs and other triangles in like crystalline white bright light triangles, shapes, outlines, little things that look like sensors. It just seems like there's a whole lot of tech that might not even be craft per se that can come down and generate this stuff. So that's what I'm sticking with right now until I see other evidence. Anyhow, I do document it in other shows where I have captured orbs and the triangular outlines, so I do recommend you go have a look at those to see what I'm talking about. Okay, now here in the middle panel on the left, you see reddish tinge, and I'm just showing because that's looking south. So when you look next to that image, everything was completely gray and blanketed out and veiled, happening west and southwest and northwest. So how do we get this beautiful salmon, pink, red, reddish color happening to the south? And it was also happening to the southeast. So the only way, in my opinion, is that there's some other red body or red something generating that light off to the southeast at the same time that we usually have a reddish appearance also happening to the northwest, but diametrically opposed. But unfortunately, it's time and time again completely masked out or veiled by this type of stuff. So anyway, let's keep moving forward. So back to this this eye, or in the center of this pointed ellipse. We're going to look at these in standalone images coming up to see what's going on. And in the meantime, this also looks like craft cloaking. and we've got some, beautiful colors happening off in here. And but then we move over toward this eye, and everything is like, looks like black and white. I didn't alter this photo at all. And then we move into looking southeast, as I mentioned, pure redness happening. And I've also have been noticing this artificial strange cloud activity is starting to pop up also now on the east horizon, where it used to predominantly happen on the west with the sunsets. I'm seeing it happen slowly, starting to happen more and more in the southeast to mask out whatever might be generating the red activity, again on the opposite side at the same time at sunset where it shouldn't be. Okay, now Whirlwind Portal with a variety of craft sequence. So this again, just zooming in like I said I would, and we're looking, we have like a spiky feature which could be a standalone craft or part of a bigger craft. This looks like cloaking material as well, over right the center of this thing. So I don't know if there are multiple craft in there, or this is one big long one with little craft discharging off of it, or just happen to be floating nearby it. But we're going to take a look at this in detail. There's enough in here to merit looking further. And here too, there's odd shape happening in here. And always at the center of this thing, things start morphing and changing. The patterns of these things coming off of it change. So some activity is happening in there. So to me, this is just one big portal or one big opening where multiple craft are coming through. All right, and here's what I mean. So the lower photo is the original, and the upper four have enhancements on them. So here we go. See, we have A and B up here are from two other photos that I don't show the original to. But look at the center. So we've got this form down here. Then we've got this, looks very symmetrical. Look at this. This looks like the center of a craft with two like bat-like wings happening off the side. And look at this discharge, looks like little craft to me. Maybe it's not craft, maybe it's even something else, who knows. But then in another photo at another time, we maybe see a different angle of this craft thing. Or this is a separate craft below, another craft that could be too. And look at the pattern, it's changed of whatever's, floating off of it. Then we have down here a totally different character of what's in the center of this eye, so to speak. So what the heck is going on? Now C, I just translate up C.1, clearly shows there's some type of object happening here. And then D, D.1, look at this, almost looks even organic, like it could be some organism. So I'm not sure what's happening here. If you have any fun ideas or see some things that I don't see in any of these images, kindly let me know in the comment section below. Okay, just another view before I get into some enhancements of this. Noticed that this looks very strange. It does look symmetrical. There's like a clear U in here, so it looks intelligently designed to me. And then we have other rib-like things happening here. Again, I don't know if this is one overall big craft or this is another piece of another craft, but look how solid that object looks. This is just electrical power line, okay, happening in here. And that's, okay, known, and it's coming from the ground. This is up in the sky, and look how solid it is. It's black, so that's craft. That's something happening. Okay, now here's again that photo that we just looked at, but a little bit enhanced, just to draw out the features a little more. So we've got A, B, and C. And I track up above A1 just means it's zoomed in and enhanced a little more. B1, same thing, tracks with B. C, I just have a question mark. Again, I don't know if that's a standalone element or part of a bigger, overall craft. But if we look at A and B up here, and C, it's just black and white, just to kind of change our perspective a little to help see things maybe a little clearer. Again, that U-shaped form on this A piece, look at that, zoomed in. That's intelligently designed. That's symmetrical. It has shadow and depth to it. So in my opinion, we are looking at some type of craft. Now, is the craft 3D solid? Is it interdimensional and we just happen to be seeing it and picking it up with our better sensitivity and ranges in our camera phones these days? I'm not sure, but I can tell you I'm very sure this is symmetrical and has intelligent design to it. That's not a haphazard cloud. There's no way a cloud could even form like that and create shadow. And look at this dark line too. Anyway, we're going to move along. I couldn't really pick up too much with these rib-like things. I was hoping to, but that's the best I could do. Okay, now here's another one. Again, in that earlier sequence, we had this as a standalone. Not standalone, sorry. This is going to be the standalone down here, but on high contrast. So this is the thing that I referred to, had a triangle shape to it, triangular shape, and here it is again. Now again, are we talking this is like a single craft and there's an overlay of many? Like, is that two different craft or one? Is this a separate craft down here and one underneath? Or is this whole thing one big installation or even carrying over to here. I don't know, like a little sidecar to this thing. Who knows? But what I do know is there's some really strange stuff going on here because I can see clear loops here. Now, are those portholes? Are they intake or exhaust for air? I don't know, but they happen down here too. And it was curious enough for me to want to learn a little bit more about this. So we zoomed in. Down here again, we've got the old A and B, refer to the parts where I'm talking about. Zoom in and change in enhancement is going to be A.1 and B.1. And then the A1 element over here, we go in even tighter, further to A.2. Okay, so look at this loop. Those are symmetrical, intelligently designed here as well. And then we zoom in, we really see it. Look at it, it's got clear outline and little ones up here too. So I zoomed in over here also. And I sketch overlaid. Just for some people it's easier than me just moving a cursor around. You might not see what I'm seeing. So I try to give you a little bit more assistance in seeing what I'm seeing with this. So this thicker line is just kind of the bolder outline of whatever that craft might be. So that's more the triangular shape. And this down here is something that could be happening. I don't know. Again, that's that long spike thing happening down here. And then this looked like it had edges to it. And again, I'm not sure if this kind of is like a sidearm of this overall craft or if it's independent. But then there was also this cross happening as well. So just have a look further when you have some time. I just found that pretty fascinating and definitely see structure to call that a craft. Now this I'm really not going to spend too much time on, but it's a sunrise sequence. A lot of strange stuff happening in here if you really care to look and study these. What I'm just going to say, I really am going to zoom pretty fast through this, is aside from all of the layers and layers of weird clouds, coming through at different altitudes, really desperately trying to cover, block the view of that sunrise, for many reasons, I guess, but I talk about it in other shows. But for now, what was strange is that some of the clouds came in from south to north, and then others came in from north to south, and there was no wind movement. And so that I found extremely, a little bit alarming, but also very telling that a lot of this is artificial stuff being manufactured. Again, I don't know by whom, but sophisticated tech enough to do it, to obscure our view of the sun, in this case at sunrise. Now this lower center photo is really bizarre because some weird things start popping up, weird enough that they're worth a closer look. So for now, here's some of the strange clouds. Look at this. Left-hand side, I've been here decades on this planet, spent a lot of time outside all my life. I've never seen anything like this. So I look to the right, and I just change the contrast quite a bit just to see if there's some more solid objects or shapes. Kind of see some stuff happening. Just something is afoot here. Something is amiss. And then at the same time, we got golden light trying to come up, and this is pure white light back here. So I have other shows that cover that this could be little localized light generators in these clouds. I've been seeing that a lot lately. They're either like an outline of a crystalline, bright white triangle or white orbs, or this is some other light source happening concurrent to this one coming up, which I think is the case as well. The artificial sun that we talk about, look at my other shows, and also other sky watching and earth watching channels cover it too, of how our sun has changed. It's very white and glaring, and there's a lot of evidence of artificial tech up there to obscure the sun and to obscure what's going on in the neighborhood of the sun, let's just say, and other planetary bodies that might be happening up beyond it. But do have a look around at other shows as well. Okay, now I'm going to cover and zoom in on that one photo that I said something was up with the lens flare. What is going on in this lens flare? There should just be a ball, maybe. Then over here, what is this shape? I mean, it's just really bizarre as well. At the same time that this weird activity, again, this was when the clouds were moving from the opposite direction that they were previous, just within minutes of each other. So we zoomed in on this one, changed the contrast a bit and other things, and you see some crystalline structures in there. So I'm not really sure what the purpose of this is, but it doesn't look natural, I'll tell you that. Then in the lens flare, B, we're going over to B1, zoom in. What is that thing? That's not just reflections of clouds happening in there. That's something more. So I looked in a photo ahead and behind this one to try to get at what's going on in there. And I found this thing. So look at this. It seems like a chunk. It has edges to it. It has other things to it. That's not a cloud. It's got shadow, It's got something strange going on. It even has a little bit of symmetry in this thing. So what is that? I have no idea, but I can tell you that's not natural as well. This overall slide is just called Interdimensional, or Cloaking Objects and Artificial Sun Camouflaging SunTech. going on. So in here, the Camouflaging SunTech is happening because this is too wide of a territory. The actual ball would be something like this. So this is multiple illuminating objects, and I cover that in detail in other shows as well if you want to go have a look. Okay, now we're getting to Whirlwind and Cloaking Clouds Sequence. And this was happening at a sunset. I only caught the tail end of a sunset. Luckily, a friend mentioned that I should get out and take a look. I wasn't planning on it that day, but found this beautiful, interesting object happening. So thank you to the friend that let me know. You know who you are. And look at this. So I caught the very tail end of beautiful colors. So peach and roses, plums, just extraordinary, really. But what an odd form. Okay, I have never seen anything like this. This is not a tornado forming. This is just an oddball cloud, which is a Cloaking Craft, I can tell you that. Because look at this. You get the tufted smoke, which again are bright indicators of something cloaking. They fuzz out in a weird way to the naked eye. It's not a trick of the camera. And then look at, we've got like a pointed ellipse happening, and then this little cone shape, and weird tufted smoke, or water vapor or plasma happening in here too. So then we look later, the colors are fading out, but some weird shapes are starting to still cloak and hide in whatever this stuff is. You got darker shape beyond. So do we have a bigger, shape craft in here? Is this all part of one thing? I don't know, or multiple things? We'll take a look in a minute. Then again, just some weird activity happening in here. I think, this is as the activity is waning a bit and thinning out, so whatever was in here probably came and left, and that's just like it's a leftover shape, or it might be still in there, who knows. But as we move along, there are other types of clouds happening at the same time. That has a definite shape to it, a little fragment, which also might be some type of craft cloaking. Triangular shapes happening in here, and other weird activities. So we're going to take a closer look at some of this. So here's just a standalone shot of this odd but very exquisite, beautiful, elegant cloud form or forms happening in the sky, just locally popped up out of nowhere, and some little fragment things in here. So let's see what's happening. Here's a zoom in just to see a little bit of maybe a better view of what's going on. You can definitely see now with the character of this cloud happening. And I'd put higher contrast and things on it just to see what might be hiding in here. And all I get is like this darker, form happening here. So it didn't tell too much. Still interesting, though, to have a look. Then, as the thing starts falling apart, the upper right is the original photograph. Thought I'd zoom in on this area A and B just to see what's going on. Again, is this a part of one long craft? I think it could be. And the more I look at it, this could be like the back end, and this is like the front end. But it could also be separate things. Hard to say. So I look at A, zoomed in here. Look at that. What the heck is that? It has shape to it. It's definitely something's happening in there. And then over at B, I just really blasted out the brightness and stuff to see that there's something, something is there. And that's got pretty solid character. Again, is this whole thing interdimensional? And we're just catching this now on our more sophisticated cameras, camera phones. I don't know. But I do know something's happening in the skies that wasn't even happening prior to like June. I'm just starting to see this stuff pop up as of June 2020. All right, now this is just called Cloaking Craft in Sky. And again, it's that one weird cloud. I thought I would zoom in a little more and change some things just to change the attributes on the photo just to see what I could find. So we've got A, which again looks kind of like, could be whale shaped. This could be like a fin, like a fish, or the extent of it could just be right here, like a pointed ellipse. I'm not sure what's going on. Then we have this one, B. I did blow out the brightness and stuff, and again, we just see some solid material here. So I'll leave this for you to ponder it further, but to me, there's craft cloaking up in there. All right, now this is called Odd Geometries, Craft in Sky. And again, this was that triangle. The original's in the upper right. I was trying to draw stuff out. Really couldn't find too much more, though. So see what you think. If you find anything, it looks like there's dark activity happening here. So I'm not sure if this is an overall, something hiding in there, or if it's just a piece, or this is a piece in front of another piece, let's just say. See what you think. All right, well, this is the photo of the week, and it's just a picture of some St. Augustine grass with shadow being cast onto some pavement from the sunrise coming up at the point where it turned full on white and glaring. So again, to me, that's evidence more of a solar simulator or SunTech interfering with our natural golden sun. because this was really white and glaring. That should otherwise be nice and golden in color. So anyway, I just want to say thank you for watching the grass grow here a while with me. It is Monday, so I hope all of you are already having the start to a beautiful week, and just wishing you all the best and tremendous peace always. Take care, everybody. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.